Someone said, "Why am I gonna pay $500 for a picture of a hobo?"
I always thought Kyle Beckerman was a good player.
Fire sticking their foot in it.
They said they were going to cut my food rations.
Cork soaking.
There is no possible way to articulate the malaise, the lack of ambition, the way it's felt for so long to be a fan better than he did.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's our live reactions to Chicago Fire's 2-2 tie, win,
Draw.
loss, draw. What does it feel like to this team?
Feels like a win.
I mean, it's Philadelphia Union are a good team.
It's not like we tied against Toronto, at Toronto. This is Philadelphia. This is a team that hardly loses at home. So
It does feel good. I'm with you on that.
I agree.
We came out, like, you got to keep in mind, this is a relatively new team. You have a new back line. You have a new striker. CERN,
no
we're still kinda
Sahlquist
working-
in that back line. Like there was pieces that we thought that would be there, and they weren't there. So like to speak,
Yeah, the lineup was shocking.
The lineup
I literally
was wild,
had to
wasn't
grab
it?
my phone. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, so it wasn't a bad game. Being the first game of the season against Philadelphia, most of the time when we play big teams like this, we usually get lit up. We go home
You're
with
right.
a 4-0 loss, but we came with a 2-2 draw. And we could have won it, but it's neither here or there. So it is what it is.
And don't forget, it could have been 4-2 very easily. Those goals, they were offside, but it showed some holes, man.
It could have been the other way for Fire too. There was a couple of bounces that didn't go their way as well, but Philly missed a couple of bounces that definitely could have brought the game for them. But Chicago Fire has Chris Brady, and I am looking at this guy in a new light this year. This guy's confidence he's 19 years old, and he's commanding that back line like a 30-year-old. Do you see him commanding that line? It was impressive.
And
You're
keep
right.
in mind, too, this is a Philadelphia team that's been playing together for a very long time under the same head coach. So this is like a team that has a style of play already in place. A lot of these guys have been playing together for various amounts, throughout various amounts of seasons. And then this is Philly. This is a team that probably has one of the highest points gained in all of MLS.
In the last couple of years, right?
In the last couple of years. So, the fact that they haven't won an MLS Cup, that's probably more shocking.
The Community Shield
than
winners,
being
though,
good,
right? They won a Community Shield, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, they got the supporter shield for sure. At
That's
least
what's crazy.
Once, if not twice.
This is
But,
one of the most winningest teams in MLS in recent history. You guys, Chicago Fire walk into their home park on opening day and take points
On the road.
And
on the road.
albeit we are disappointed that it felt like they could have had the win. But
there's one thing I keep in mind is that Philadelphia just finished playing against Saprissa for the CONCACAF Champions League on Wednesday, and they walked away with a 3-2 win in Costa Rica. So technically, this is not like their first game of the whole entire season. This is, they're kind of warmed up already, so to speak.
do you think that actually may have played out against them, though? Maybe they had some tired legs today because of that.
I mean, it's too
It
early in
didn't
the
look
season
like
to have
it.
tired legs.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, man.
They were
looked
coming
pretty
back,
good.
right? They were every time the Fire punched them in the mouth, Philly actually came back. That's the thing about Philly. They are a good team. But the Fire was doing something we haven't seen them really do today. I was texting my brother. I'm like, it feels like we finally have the talent to compete with good teams. We might not over the season. It might, fall apart a little bit. But right now, we are literally punching these guys in the face. We're punching one of the best teams in the league in the face offensively, getting the goal.
It was pure Klopas ball. It was Klopas ball to a T. I mean, to the early fouls, to the, you know what I mean, to just like the bunkering, the setting, you know, the letting them have some space. It was definitely what Klopas has the team doing. I mean, you have to also like the what you want out of this game changed 1 minute into it. Because you lose Gutman for what I'm assuming is the season.
I didn't see that.
I was at a bar, so I didn't have the sound on. I didn't hear shit. But I'm assuming Gutman's gone for the year.
No.
And when you lose a guy 1 minute into the game, your game plan completely changes. So for them to still look, you know, like eventually get, you know, in the second half, be a better team and actually look like they were dangerous like that, you got to give it up to them for that. That I'm happy with how that started.
And they pivoted to Dean, who not only like Dean is above replacement rate. That's crazy. He played Dean goes in for the starter Gutman and plays above replacement rate.
Well, Dean didn't go in for Gutman.
He didn't? I thought he did.
No, the other guy did. Guttural. What is his? I forget.
Oh,
now I forget.
No, wait. You're right. I apologize.
So like he came in, Auguster. He came in and then he got subbed out later.
Gasper. Yeah, you're right.
Gasper,
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry.
What it is.
I saw what I saw was his number 25 move to that point. I think actually after Gasper had come off. And I grew impressed, and I thought, oh, in my head, I'm like, oh, Dean's been there the whole time, and then so I am wrong in that regard.
It's wild, man. We lost EPG somehow, brother. We love you, he'll be back. But like I said, when your game plan gets thrown out the window, like I'm happy that they looked the better team at some points in the second half. In the first half, they didn't look the better team, but they did what they needed to do, and then
the Fire were winning the game at 2 separate points in that game.
I know,
that's
which is
crazy.
It is crazy, but let's give Guti his flowers. That was an amazing bit of individual play, which is great to see out of an individual skill position.
It wasn't just individual. His goal was he did create his own goal, but there's an assist there from Shaqiri. Shaqiri got him the ball, fought off the defender, got dragged down. So I'm like, he also was in a similar situation, had to produce, got it to his main man Guti. I was talking about this on the other stream, but we have the fact that Shaqiri and Guti are having another year together. That is huge. Having Guti's youth is rejuvenating Shaqiri. And he's finding that he's finding that he can actually rely on Guti. Kuipers had a bit of a disappointing day. However,
I was going to ask you what you didn't like about your day, and that would have been my answer, was Kuipers' play. Like, I feel like did he touch the ball in the first half? Like, I'm not 100% sure.
I didn't see the first half. So, but what I did see was the second half. I don't even know if he touched
the ball.
Again, I only saw his second half. Yeah.
You know, you're at a bar. So I haven't read anything about this game. I haven't heard anything. I didn't even hear the commentary. Like, I'm at the bar hanging out, living my life, watching the game. And for me, what I feel like I saw was like, I don't even know if he had possession of the ball once, like any touches in the first half. Mm-hmm. Second half, again, he was pretty, absent for what I saw. And to be honest, where Gutman fell on the field, like, because he was the furthest up on the field of all the players when he like laid down and he was hurt. I actually thought it was Kuipers at first. I was about to like literally cry. Oh. I thought Kuipers was down 1 minute into the season, but I don't really like, do you blame him? Like right now, I feel like he has enough rope that it's like, well, yeah, of course he hasn't even practiced with the team basically.
I think Kuipers is going to be fine. And here's why. I see good indicators. I didn't see connections on the passes. He missed a header. He hit it, glanced off his head, just didn't work out. He was so pissed at himself. What I see is a guy who gives a. He gives a. I mean, he doesn't just give a damn. He gives a.
He cares. He's out there. He was again. I'm with you. I feel like he'll be fine eventually.
But I did. I was hoping. I did see him get a little angry, and I'm hoping that. And it seemed like he was angry at himself. It really seemed like he was directing a lot of his anger at himself and not at his teammates. And what I also saw, because I thought I saw it one time, I'm like, was he being mad at his teammate for not getting him in the ball, or was he mad at himself for not making that run or a miscommunication there? And I came to the decision that, or conclusion that it was mad at himself because I saw how he was with his teammates. This dude's a teammate. When Fabian Herbert scored that goal, there was
the Swiss Army knife of soccer.
There was nobody more excited than the guy right next to him, which was Kuipers. Kuipers went like
he was in that celebration. He
had what that shows to me is he was not worried about him scoring the goal. The goals will come for Kuipers. But what I saw, it was a teammate that's happy for his teammate. That's huge. You want that type of guy on your team. You want that type of guy who's mad at himself for feeling like he failed himself in the team for not scoring. I saw that in Kuipers. He wants to make amends. I'm excited to see the gelling. Like when we're talking about what's the word? The chemistry. That's where we're going to be looking for chemistry to develop this season, is between Kuipers and the rest of the attack, because Shaq and Goody, they got it, baby.
Yeah, that was good to see. I feel like Shaq had a decent game. I was a little concerned he came out so early, but what are you gonna do? You know, his first game of the season.
That was weird.
Were you guys concerned that Acosta didn't start yet, or was that just another let's give him some more time to integrate?
Yeah, that's just him working the team. But before we get there, DPG, we were talking all about Kuipers. Do you have any thoughts about him? What's going on?
He said that's what he said the same thing. He disappeared. He disappeared in the game.
Oh my gosh, he just disappeared. He just disappeared.
And then we get a text that says, "Sorry, guys."
Sorry. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic then, which was what were we bringing up here?
Well, I brought up Acosta because now the question still lingers who he starts for.
To me, he starts over Jimenez, because you start Herbers, you start Herbers and Acosta. Fabian Herbert.
You understand Klopas.
Do you remember when I called it in the podcast? I said Fabian Herbert should be the starting center, and look at what Frank did. Frank started Herbers center mid.
He did,
next
and he got
to
a goal
Jimenez.
out of him.
And you got a goal out of him. Frank, bring me on.
Oh God. Oh man, we have the Frank Klopas whisperer, man. Oh,
I told you I believe in Frank.
You do. How'd you feel about Allegori? Like, I feel like I didn't realize
Aragoni.
Yeah, I saw him and he looked like he had that 1,000-yard stare where he's sitting on the bus next to somebody and they're like, "Yo, the traffic sucks," and he's like, "Yeah, I had to survive a jigsaw puzzle from Saw," and he just looks like, I don't know. There's this darkness behind the eyes. I don't know, man.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I didn't see it. I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
He's got that 1,000-yard stare. That's what it is.
That worries me. What was really interesting is we got Pineda starting. I don't see Sahlquist listed at all.
There was reports about him looking bad in preseason. Did he play himself out of a spot? That's not unheard of. I had too much fun tonight to offhandedly come up with who in MLS history were DPs and barely setting the field.
Mm-hmm.
the guy after Shabilko, that guy like Gazdag, his first season he could barely get on the field. He was a sub.
Gazdag's
and then
amazing.
He's now Gazdag now, you know.
Gazdag is amazing. I put money on Gazdag and Guti to score. Yeah, boom. Sniped it.
I can never like, even when I play fantasy, be like do something against what I want to root for, because I'd rather be happy than upset.
Dude, that's where I was tonight. Because Gazdag scored early, and then they took it off. It was already after Brian Gutierrez had scored, so I'm like, Gazdag scores. I'm like, all right, I got it. And now I can start rooting for the Fire to win. And like, it was like they were tying or something. And then they disallowed the goal, and I was like, oh, well, that's all right. The Fire are winning. All right, so that's fine by me. And then he scores the goal later in the 93rd minute, and I'm like, oh, the Fire still got it. I'll take the money, but the Fire still got it. Come on. I still believed.
You know, that goal didn't kill me as hard as I thought it was going to. You know what I mean? It was just like,
didn't.
Oh, but okay.
It didn't kill me.
You know, I feel like right now, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to sell myself out, but I'll say this. I'm allowing growing pains, because especially the way like teams buoy in MLS, like you just got it. Like, if it's one of those things, like you got to either finish high and then get bounced from the playoffs early, and I'll still be okay with it. Or if you sneak into the playoffs, you gotta steal a game or two. You got to move on 1 or 2 rounds to make me tell you it was a successful season. So that's kind of where we're at, is like one of those 2 scenarios will make me happy as a fan.
To me, this is walking into Gurnee, Illinois, Six Flags Great America, and you're looking at like, what's that wooden roller coaster? The American Eagle?
Yes.
And like, you've never ridden a roller coaster in your life. You don't know what to expect. That's where we're at with the Chicago Fire right now. It's going to be bumpy. Your back's going to hurt. Oh, yeah,
right. You're going up that real slow, like very first incline, ready for the whoosh.
But there is a whoosh. There not only is there a whoosh, there's a whoosh whoosh. Whoa! And you're like, this is going a lot faster than I thought it could, even though it's some rickety old wooden thing. All right, maybe they're headed towards Raging Bull territory. Maybe they're working on trying to install a metal coaster. They're not quite there yet. They're still working on this wooden rickety one, but we finally got something that's a little bit better than the you go to the fair, and they got those whirly
the zipper.
Yeah, like that is different. That's the old Chicago Fire. We have the new Chicago Fire. We now have a wooden roller coaster.
Well, let's enjoy the ride. I always say this: if you're be good, and if you're not going to be good, at least be like interesting in a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? If you're irrelevant, that sucks and boring. But
Gutman,
I think
that's what you're making me think about.
Well, we're gonna have Word tomorrow, and we're gonna have a podcast that we record in a couple days. So like, let's keep our thoughts for Andrew Gutman. And I think we've talked enough about a draw, because a draw is a draw.
So let's we're gonna quickly talk players. How we feel about them. If you feel anything, you could pass. Let's start with the man in the back, Brady.
I feel like, oh man, now you're gonna have me be a hater. I feel like Brady had a bad game, at least in the first half. I feel like he could have easily, I feel like at least one. Well, I should say there was only 2 goals, but if you count like the offside goals, like there was 2 goals that Brady's like directly responsible for. He could have easily, I feel like it was an easier save.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could watch highlights and I could sound like an asshole right now, but that's how I feel. I feel like Brady actually did not have a good game, nor did he at least it didn't start off well. He did have some saves, but I don't feel like it started off well. What did you notice? You missed some of the first half.
I missed all the first half, but what I saw out of Brady is a 19-year-old.
You are not wrong.
That's so effing confident. That has such command and respect of his back line, they're a unit. He can give them shit. They can give him shit. He knows when he's failed them, they know when they failed him. He's keeping them accountable. I can't believe that kid's fucking 19. I'm sorry, pardon my French. He's 19 years old. He's 6'3". We're seeing the mistakes of a young goalkeeper. Yeah, he's got to change a few positioning things here, but holy cow, there are 30-year-old goalkeepers in this league that don't look half as good as him, and
you're not wrong. It's his normal standard that makes it look like a poor game. You're probably right.
I was impressed.
You know what I mean? He's set a standard for himself that I'm used to seeing, I guess. I would accept that.
So there's two types of goalies that think about this. There's two types of goalies that get nutmegged. The really bad goalies and like the super scary goalies, because you literally don't know what to do. Think about that. Like David De Gea, he gets nutmegged every once in a while, even though he's literally he's like the kick save artist. Like sometimes you just don't know how to score on these goalies, and that's what that happened to the guy who scored on Brady. I'm like, I can't believe he got nutmegged. But every time else, like I just see the way he stands. He literally thinks he could stop every shot, and when
you're right.
Not every goalie thinks he can stop every shot because they know the limitations of their body. And he knows the limitations of his body and thinks he can stop every shot. That is huge. He's got great fast twitch. I'm a former goal. I can see some of this shit. I can see what he's doing here. His positioning's, he's working on his positioning, but it's still it's solid. He's got a solid foundation. He's 19 years old. His foundation
You're right.
is
I hope
insane. We can't look at this guy like he's a 22-year-old, like he's a 25-year-old goalie, like he's a 30-year-old goalie, like he's a 36-year-old. He's literally under 20. He can't even buy a beer in America. He used to be able to go to Wisconsin back in the 70s.
You are correct. I'll give you that. You are correct.
So there's something to build on there. So I feel good about Brady. Aragoni, you say he's got the 1,000-yard stare?
Yeah, I don't. You know what? For me, the like ticky-tacky goal didn't come from his side, and I didn't really notice him much.
I felt like he's solid.
So that's like a good thing for a defender. Like I don't think I heard about you. You know, you didn't put in much into the offense as maybe I would have liked, but we didn't hear your name too often, so that's a good sign.
It truly, I'm realizing I feel like I need a second watch of this, because you know what I mean. Like we're doing this based off fleeting glimpses of what we saw, and you really need a second watch to see a lot of this shit. But
and it's funny how you watch a game too.
Yes, it is.
Like sometimes, every now and again, I'll watch a game, and if I'm like just hanging out and I'm at home or whatever, I'm straight Chris Kamara. It's like, we got a red card? When did that happen? Like it's just how much are you paying attention, or like the surroundings where you're watching the game. We're not pundits.
Pineda looked. I think he looked okay. I was surprised he started. He started over Olmsberg.
Yeah, well,
think about that. And this was another question we had was like, where did Pineda fit in this team? Like, because we know he's a talent, but we know that he kind of got sandbagged by put in this weird D mid CB position thing, which is great for Football Manager.
Well, if I'm not insane, when he really got his start, Klopas was coaching, right? Like he got his start as a center back with Klopas.
Yeah.
And now Klopas is back and he's playing center back for Klopas. Like, I don't think it's a stretch to feel like Klopas may biasly prefer Pineda or like rate him over Olmsberg or any of the other what's his face? So Suquet. Not Suquet. Sahlquist.
Yeah, it seems like right now Pineda has the job over Olmsberg and Sahlquist, and I did not expect that.
Wild.
Chicos, we expect to have the job. Aragona, we expect to have the job. Gutman, we expect to have the job. But guess who's going to take over for Gutman? I wonder if it's going to be Gasper or Dean.
I would have liked Dean, but the fact that Gasper came in, unless let's not clown Gasper. I don't. Well, the goal came from his side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not play, and he got burned, but so did a few people.
And I think the goal came from Dean's side too, because I think that he went in for Gasper or something like that. I don't know.
Right, but so maybe the idea was Dean was gonna come into that game late, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So then, even though Gasper went in, Gasper went in so that they kept Dean's plan going.
Because it does make sense because you thought I thought Gasper had more. Yeah, I thought.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I could be wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your internet good right now? Welcome to Kicks and Gears, the ultimate soccer sale. I'm your host, Danny. Welcome, folks, to the one and only Kicks and Gears, the place where you don't just drive a dream, you live it. Today, we're not just selling cars, we're offering you the chance to own a piece of the American dream. Team. Over here, the luxurious LA Galaxy, sleek, shiny, with a history of high performance, comes with 5 championship stars. It's like having a turbocharged engines for every decade. All right, not doing it for you? How about this? Over here. And here, the reliable Sporting Kansas City, known for their solid defense and loyal fan base. It's like the minivan of soccer teams. Not the flashiest, but it gets the job done. All right, maybe you need something more exotic. All right, back and to the left is Inter Miami. Check them out. The newest model on the block, baby. Designed by the one and only David Beckham. It's like owning a luxury sports car that everyone wants to take for a spin. Leo Messi, baby, in the engine. How's the mileage? The warranty? Okay, let's move on. How about the Seattle Sounders? Yes, the Sounders, a real people's choice with a strong fan base and back-to-back championships. It's like getting free maintenance for life. And as for mileage, well, let's just say there's plenty of gas left in that tank for a few more victories. Okay, all right. Something else for you. Maybe this is what you're after. Here, over here. The Chicago Fire, a classic, as we all know, but it's been a bit of a fixer-upper lately. Great potential for a project lover. So whether you're looking for luxury, reliability, or a fixer-upper, Kicks and Gears has got the team for you. And remember, when you buy an MLS team, you're not just buying wins. You're buying every thrilling moment on and off the pitch. Let's go! See you guys next time. Kick it like a Polaroid picture. Double checking.
Yeah, it keeps going in and out. We're all living in internet and it's Saturday.
I accidentally talked over you like the whole time because like it stopped at my end, and so I started talking, and then it started going. I was like, oh, okay.
Don't even worry. Sorry. Just see how it comes out in the recording. Sometimes it's all good, and you're like, oh, I didn't hear it like that.
That's true.
But anyway, man,
so Gutman we lose possibly for the season.
Think?
Dean looked okay. I like Dean. I didn't see enough of Gasper. Herbers, I told you, should be starting. He should. Jimenez played like I expect him to. And
I'm a certified hater, and I apologize because that man
spell it
has
with a G?
Great cheekbones. But
do you spell it with the silent G?
Oh my God. But to be fair, whatever, run his legs in the first game, and then in theory, I'd like to see Acosta start for him instead of Herbers.
Yes.
So we shall see. We shall see.
Haile Selassie started. How about them apples?
I feel like he didn't didn't have a good game, but it wasn't a game where you're like, oh, now I have questions. It's just like, oh, yeah, he didn't play as well as he wanted, and like he tried this and it didn't work, and he tried that and it didn't work, and this pass was errant,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, yeah, just a bad game. And that's kind of how I feel like. I feel like he didn't have a great game. I am surprised we didn't see Mueller.
You're right, dude. Whoa. Whoa. We didn't see Mueller. Maybe we should have seen. Haele's, I expected Haele Selassie to have a little bit more impact with his quickness. It wasn't there today. Maybe it's there next game, like you say. And wow, we did not see Mueller. Why is that? That seems...
No, I don't know. Who knows?
Let me go quickly, just take a quick peek at the subs. They used...
I'm going to go.
They used all 5 subs. Tom Barlow, Kellen Acosta, Jonathan Dean, Federico Navarro, and Chase Gaspar, who got subbed on and off.
Any one of those guys impress, or any of them like stand out as not good?
Acosta impressed. My gosh.
I mean, I think Gaspar was okay, but
you did you see the first half, DPG?
Yeah,
because we did not.
So
I did. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh wait, yeah.
So I feel like Gaspar was like missing. I feel like Gaspar wasn't really, his passing accuracy was a little bit lacking. Like he will win possession, but then he'll lose it on the first or second pass. I thought he did all right. I thought he did decent, but you can tell that it might be a mixture of him not gelling with the team. So I'm sure everybody thought that Gutman was gonna be like our permanent starter on the left side. So I'm hoping to see him improve.
Yup.
And I mean, at least we have at least we have Dean.
Yeah,
I think Dean will be okay on that left side in case Gaspar kind of, the wheels fall off him. So, yeah, that was my biggest concern, was that left side.
Our goals came from our left side. It looks like Brian Gutierrez on the left side and Fabian Herbert's playing left center mid.
Well, Brian Gutierrez scored that freaking hell of a goal at the first half. And then the second goal was basically just pestering the goalkeeper because the ball was loose in the area, and it was the Fire just shooting, trying to get it in, and finally they got it in.
That Herbert's goal was great. It was a great little dirty goal.
Who wanted it more?
Mm-hmm. I had a feeling they were gonna score that. I'm like, it just looked like they just were locked in.
Yeah,
it was close ball.
So
they had moments. They had moments today. That,
I know.
I'm like still excited.
I know people were probably, people were pissed off on the Discord on the Fire server because they felt that the tie felt like a loss.
Mm.
You shouldn't look at it that way. I know Barlow missed that, that one-on-one.
Oh my God, that
Barlow
was bad.
had the game on his foot.
But the thing is, too, is, again, this team is still kind of coming together. But then again, it's a one-on-one. You will think that the guy will make it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, it was a combination of passes. It was just one hell of a pass. And, I mean, he could have just chipped it over the goalkeeper if he wanted to. I don't know why
he could have done just about anything else other than what he did.
Yeah. So basically, my thing is
why
like,
didn't they put Koutsias in?
If the goalkeeper's on the ground, that if the goalkeeper is that low rushing at you, why would you shoot it on the ground? Like, either shoot that it freaking flies over him, or you
even if he hits it, it's up in the air and somebody knocks it. You know what I mean? Like, you create chaos, which that's the word for this team. I think is they are just chaos. It's Clovis ball chaos.
So, well, I do gotta admit though that the Fire were pretty much at one point pretty much dominating the Philly defense. Like, they were breaking lines. Something that we don't see all the time is the Fire breaking lines. Actually, taking out defenders, moving the ball around, like getting past the defensive line. It's at one point, like I said, Philly had to like pretty much start defending like crazy because, they were getting pressured. As crazy as that sounds, but for the most part, this kind of changes a lot of stuff for next week. Because a lot of people didn't have that high of expectation for these first 3 games. And if this first game is any type of think of it as a indication that what's to come for the rest of the season, then you should, as a Fire fan, you should feel pretty good about it.
I agree.
What do you expect out of next week? A point or a win?
Win.
Oh, have you seen how since he's played today? I have not.
Dude, Frank Klopas wants this.
Oh my God. Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I believe that 3 goals in the first 28 minutes of this game have been scored against Zach Steffen.
No way.
And that alarms me as a person that used to really like Zach Steffen. But wow. Oh, never mind. I think the one got taken away.
They got one taken away. It's 2-0. Yeah.
Woof. Anyway, my bad.
Guys, Chicago Fire are in a playoff position today. They're in 6th place with 1 point after the first game of the season. They tied, I think, one of the best teams in the league at home on opening day weekend, where the Fire weren't just out there trying to press. Philadelphia, you better believe, was trying to go out there and put the right foot out. Chicago put a stop to that. That was impressive.
Keep in mind, Philadelphia was coming back from a high after winning in Costa Rica, so they were probably expecting an easy 3 points against Chicago. We have it in the bag, and we pretty much ruined those plans. If anything, if you guys ever get a chance, I was actually watching the highlights of the Costa Rica, the Saprissa versus Union game. Actually, I was watching the highlights of that game last night to kind of have a better indication how this Philly team is.
Really? You're an absolute sicko.
And you know what? They're a little jittery.
Didn't they give up a real clown show of a goal?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that in Saprissa, or was that like a game before that?
No, it was in Costa Rica.
Oh, man.
The Fire's goals were earned. Well earned on Philadelphia.
Oh, you're correct.
The individual effort it wasn't an individual effort. I got to say, Shaqiri was directly linked, but he did create his own shot in a way because he was way off in the wing, and that's what we're talking about. Shaqiri collects the ball about midfield, shuffles it out to the far wing as he gets dragged down, and Guti takes it from the far wing to the corner of the box and gets out a rocket of a shot to turn it into a goal. It was beautiful. The other goal, Fabian Herbers, was absolutely just a grinder goal, which was a perfect Chicago Fire goal. We know grinder goals from Chicago Fire goal. They love to emulate the Blackhawks. They do. And they bring that mentality. I love that. But when you get good goals plus grinder goals, I think we're going to have a winning formula, because usually it's just grinder goals.
I mean, all honesty, the Fire have felt like they've been playing a lot of grinding goal for the past few seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't ever grind enough of them out.
Exactly. Yeah.
The thing is, I would like to see this team be a little bit more finesse under plays instead of just kind of lobbing it over. But you look around the league, there's certain teams that can literally put a bunch of passes together and score a goal. And I don't think the Fire are there yet.
No, I agree.
You don't always have to be there either.
Passes 400, but get this, passes 441 for Philly, 389 for Fire. So they were about 50 passes behind. They were in possession. They were a whole 10 percentage points behind, 55 to 45. But yet, I felt like there were portions of the game that the Fire controlled. And then inversely, there were portions of the game that Philly absolutely controlled.
I feel like the Fire, even though they had a higher, what is that? The everybody makes fun of the scoring ratio, but even though they had a higher rating, I don't feel like they ever controlled any part of the first half. But in the second half, X goals, but expected goals. But in the second half, there was definite portions where Chicago was definitely in control of the game, which was very nice to see. You always get to see that.
It wasn't long. I mean, Philly came back, but like I brought this up when DPG was away, the Fire were ahead at 2 different points in that game.
They were. You know, they were ahead, and that's. I don't think any of us was expecting that. I think a lot of what we're used to is having the Fire winning 1-0 and then losing the game 2-1 or 3-1. You know, or
oh yeah, for sure.
So nobody was expecting the Fire to score and then score again afterwards and take the lead in the 80th something minute of the game. But then again, we have to be reminded.
I think the way to put it would be.
Did you freeze?
I'm sorry, we're having Discord issues. I think I had freezing issues personally.
God, I thought you
in real life.
Oh, that was so funny.
So,
oh my God,
boys, I mean, okay. Well, do you got a couple more topics, or do you want me to start asking you about player grades real quick?
Player grades, we already went through that, bro.
Yeah,
we
but
need to
DPG
wrap up,
missed it,
my man.
and we didn't give Shaqiri a grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here, a quick one. This is a quick shot. Brady did good. I give him about a 7, 6, 7, 6.5. He kind of messed up on that first and second. Well, he messed up on both goals. It's just, a more veteran keeper probably would have been ready to dive for that second goal.
I like that 6.5.
The back line, you know what? She-Holes was actually a little quiet today. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he really didn't like stick out. I don't know if it's because the rest of the back line did a good job, but it didn't feel like he was like the last man standing all the time.
I saw him being one of the main outlets from pass wise. Like he's like the guy they pass out of the back out. So he's definitely a main cog.
Yeah. But so She-Holes will probably get a 7.3.
6 something.
Pineda 7.0. Gaspar maybe a 6.5. Like I said, he did decent, but there's a lot of times that he couldn't just pass the ball to someone. He will just give away possession.
Yikes.
On the
How
other
did you
side,
feel about Aragoni? Because Toke is seeing 1,000-yard stare. I
thought Aragoni did pretty good. You could tell that there's talent there. He could. I think he almost looked like he's well suited for the league. That's the kind of vibe that I got from him. He will hustle. He was.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice him that much.
But he was still kind of becoming part of the attack on that right side.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I think he is probably a slight upgrade over Suket or Sekulic.
And younger.
But again, we just gotta wait. We gotta wait and see what happens the rest of the season. It's only game 1.
Right. Herbers and Jimenez. How'd you feel about them?
Herbers outstanding. Like I always had this thing about Herbers that he does good when he comes off the bench, but he's kind of garbage when he starts.
Mm-hmm.
He surprised me today. So I mean, I gotta give him like an 8.2 or something.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah. Let's go, Fabian.
Jimenez, I mean,
can I tell you real quick? Hold on. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
I absolutely from now on want DPG to be the mouthpiece of our rating system.
I love it
because I don't know where you're picking up the numbers, but I'm loving every second of it.
I do too.
I apologize.
And I feel we can add in if we feel different. We can be like, I've added in. I'm like, 6 there.
You know how I get my rating system? I got it from Dave Portnoy with his pizza reviews.
Yeah.
So I got it from his pizza reviews, and keep in mind, like when you score a guy like a 7 or 8 in his terms, that's like high.
That's high.
If you get a 9 point something, if
as
you get
opposed
a 9,
to continue on, sir, please.
So Jimenez, you were grading.
Honestly, I would have liked to see him. Well, He did an above average job. He wasn't that bad.
6.9.
I probably around 6.9. Honestly, I could kind of see Acosta taking over that spot. If you're gonna keep Herbers on the lineup,
You got to keep Herbers in the lineup.
If you keep Herbers on the lineup, you got to put Acosta next to him.
You have to.
You have to. So
we called it.
6.9. You got to put. He's like a 6.9.
We called it in our last podcast. You got to pair Herbers with Acosta because, guys, when Acosta went out there, he started doing things I've never seen a Fire midfielder ever fucking do. It was like watching the Bears actually throw for a first down. I was bewildered. I was like, oh, they are capable. He took the ball on a pass, and instead of going backwards, he went forwards. And I was like, there it is. That's the one.
So hopefully we'll see that next game. As far as Brian Gutierrez, he's like maybe like an 8.4, 8.5.
Oh my God, a god!
You know what? He's starting to look like a veteran out there. Like the kid's he's only like 21, 22. He's still young. But you could kind of tell that if he keeps playing the way he's playing, we probably won't have him. For next season, we might sell him.
20.
A European team is gonna grab him.
He's 20 years old.
20 years old. Wow.
That's fine.
He looks better than Georgie.
Yes, he looks a lot better than Georgie.
Oh, my God. Yeah, much better. The problem and the market for American players is higher now than it was.
The problem with Georgie was that he was very inconsistent. Brian Gutierrez had that issue a little bit, but for the most part, he was more consistent than not. Georgie, he could have one good game, and then the next 3 or 4 games, he was average.
Well, we'll see about that with Brian, because Brian, he was young last year, and he's still young this year, but
he is still very young.
How many? But look at that goal.
That goal, that pass came from Shaqiri. You see, it's paying off. At least a year plus of chemistry between Guti and Shaqiri.
But keep in mind, if you see that goal he scored, he didn't have a ton of space. He already had like 3 Philly guys already closing in on him, and he took a shot.
Created it.
I like the confidence. I'm a big fan of the confidence.
And it wasn't like oh yeah, the goalkeeper was out of place. No, he blasted it past.
Dude, he ripped it.
Like, man, he cleaned that goalkeeper's clock. Like he literally,
it was a great goal to start the season.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if that goalkeeper's confidence is shattered for the next few games. With those heavy shots.
How about Shaqiri?
Oh, Shaqiri? He was serviceable.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do.
Was he the most expensive player on the pitch tonight?
Never.
He didn't look like it.
No, Kuipers is,
but Shaqiri was like a 7.4.
That's good.
He was decent. He was good, but you could tell that he was getting out muscle a lot by the Philly defenders. And he's kind of at a younger Shaqiri probably would have ran past those 2 guys, no problem. But obviously, he's kind of showing his age a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, 7.2. He did okay. He did good. Now Selassie, he's still breaking people's ankles, so that's no surprise. The one thing I like about Selassie is that he really, really can take on defenders like nothing. He could break people's ankles. He can move around. His service sometimes is lacking.
Yes, he's great dribbler.
Hold on. Let me ask a quick question.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I have my own answer, but like, who else on the field can actually take a player on 1v1?
Mueller
on our team.
Mueller.
Guti.
He wasn't on the field.
He wasn't on the field, but a healthy Mueller. Was
Gutierrez,
able to do that.
right?
Yeah, Guti and Mueller.
But that's only 2 guys that can do that on the field. So like Selassie's a big tool of like what they need to do to be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a better He's a better, what's the word, offensive tool than Mueller. Mueller's a better, maybe, altogether tool.
Yeah.
But Holly's more pointed, a more pointed knife.
You also got to keep in mind is that for the first time in a while, we actually have some depth on the bench. When you got a guy like Mueller, when you got a Costa, when you got Federico Navarro, who else? Jonathan Dean.
Federico
you
Navarro,
have those guys
yeah.
on the bench. That's that's
well, is Jonathan Dean a starter now?
I think so.
You know what? At one point last season, before he got hurt, he did get hurt. So before he got hurt, he was actually doing really, really good.
I agree. I think I'd rather see him than Guster or
Gaspar. But here's the thing: the one thing that was kind of stuck out for me for Gaspar, and it's kind of why I was like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be so hard on him. The guy went to go get treated. He went to get I don't know if it was addiction treatment or mental health issue treatment or whatever.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
So, yeah, they were talking about this during the broadcast, and I was surprised. Like, really?
Well, so he's come back from it also.
So he's come back from it. So,
wow.
It's hard for someone, that does, that has to go through that to actually come back and, stay being a professional.
But he's also got a chance to be super successful and put that stuff behind him too. So
yeah,
we'll definitely root for that outcome.
So again, I want to give all these guys time because it's only the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Kuipers barely joined the team this week or last week. I don't even think
he hasn't been here 7 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, as far as Selassie, I give him about a 7 points for breaking ankle, 7.6.
Wow, higher than I would have given. I was going to go 7.2 for Halle. And Kuipers,
I give him a 6.7. He didn't get a lot of service. Not a lot of great service, so to speak.
They weren't connecting. You saw the frustrations.
Yeah, so, and it's only a matter of time before he actually starts clicking with the rest of the team.
Agreed.
And when he does, then that's when the goals come in. So, just because he didn't score today doesn't mean that he's a bust. It's way too early to even think that he's a bust. My criteria for the finding
he's a bust. It's over.
It's over.
My criteria for defining a bust is probably maybe 3/4 of the season passing, and the guy hasn't scored more than 5 goals. But again, we got to give him time. It might be a few weeks. I don't even think it might be a few weeks. It might be one or two games where he kind of still has to gel with the team, get a couple of training sessions on. So yeah, a lot to be excited for. As far as the subs, Acosta did great.
Oh.
I give him a 7.1. I honestly think he should have came on a little bit sooner than what he did. Who else came in? Jonathan Dean.
Do we know why he didn't start? Did they say what the plan was there, or just
Acosta's still coming in?
Because I feel
he hasn't been there for all the preseason. Think about it.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Everybody else has been
sure
running.
He's fit. I'm sure he's fit.
Oh, he looks fit. He looks good, dude. He had explosiveness that nobody on the field had. The dude took the ball. I'm like, he's literally, when he played, I was like, that might be the best player on the field. He is a U.S. men's national team center midfielder, after all.
Yeah. So we shall see.
I'm excited, boys. I'm excited for the future. Yeah. Let's start closing this down with our final thoughts here. My final thought, dude, I'm fucking excited. I'm fucking excited for this ride. This is a ride I am actually excited for. I wanted off the Bears ride. I know some people are like, oh, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields. I'm off of that ride. I'm on with Harbaugh.
You're like,
I'm
out.
I'm done with McCaskey's, all that stuff. I am not ever done. I'm the Fire. This ride, they've made it worth my while. I'm buying it. I told you, I buy into Frank. I'm buying into Guti. I'm buying into Brady. I'm buying into a few of these people. I'm buying into the few of the ideas. I have yet to buy into Heights. But I feel like there's something building here that we have not seen in a long time. This team has talent that they could actually compete with the best of the best, punch them in the mouth a few times, and maybe get the win. And that's all we can really ask for in MLS. Shows that parity is a real thing when they can come in and make it 2-2 against one of the best teams in MLS. And maybe they're not so far behind the rest of MLS as those pundits were predicting.
I couldn't have said it better myself, bro. The mic drop, right?
A little
so,
bit.
For me, I mean, I'm happy. I'm more excited. You know, like I said, there was a scenario where we lost this game and still have a phenomenal season, right? So I'm excited for next week. Let's see what they do against the team that was the best team in the league last season. Let's at home, you know what I mean? Let's see what Kuipers can do, like actually knowing his teammates' names because he's been here long enough. You know, like let's see what happens. So, you know, nothing but optimism. I'll be there. I will be there and excited. And, you know, say hey if you see me.
DPG?
Are you still there? Oh no. We'll send a search party out for DPG.
DPG.
Like and subscribe and everything. Thank you.
No. Subscribe, kick that like button. We'll see you guys next time. Here on Enemies of the Fire. This was a long episode with no commercials.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. See you guys later.